Welcome everyone, this is Richard from Slow Smooth Fast. Now today we are working on our fender extender from AdvanBlack that I just got done painting yesterday. And that is essentially like the newer Road Glides. It's going to mount right there. I won't mount it right this moment, but it's going to mount right there at the bottom. You got the tri light right here, which is on order, should be here tomorrow. These older touring bikes do not come with the mounting brackets to install a fender extender, so you have to drill your fenders, or if you want, you can use double-sided tape and mount them. I'm not a tape guy. I would rather hard mount these things. So obviously, first things first, right now I have the bags off. You do have to take these off. There's 2 bolts here. I already took one off because I had the lower antenna mount right there, which is coming off because it's corroded and doesn't work anyway. 2, the mounts, as you can see here, the mounts, the bottom part of the mount, whichever side, they look like they're about the same. The bottom part will mount in between the fender and this bracket underneath, up top right here. So when you mount it, a piece of it's going to be mounted in between the fender and that bracket. So hence the reason why I'm starting with my bags off. My bags will go back on when I mock it up, because you do have to mock this fender up to get the proper alignment, and I want that alignment to be even with my All right, so I have the brackets, I have the saddlebags mounted up. Now we're going to go ahead and mock the fender. Now you got to pull up, slide in from the bottom, as you can see, and you kind of just have to play with this to see where you want it to be mounted. And that's about where I want it. I might have to take that bracket out from behind there. I really didn't want to, but it's impeding me getting a nice flush fit. So let's go ahead and take that bracket off. I've already removed the bolts from each side as it mounts to the saddlebag mounts. We're just going to go ahead and remove this. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and continue mounting this bracket here. It's a very tight fit, but there we go. And that's how it's going to fit. So what I'm going to do, gotta make sure I get this right. And that looks like that's about as good as it's going to fit. It's not exactly flush. Right here, looks like it's, I don't know if it was a molding issue, but it's not exactly perfect, but it'll work. So I'm going to tape that in place, starting with the bottom, using some automotive masking tape. All right, so as you can see, that is basically the fitment of it. It is a little bit lower as it rises from here and here compared to the saddlebags. So now that I have it on and I can see where it fits, I am very likely going to order some saddlebag extenders. My fear on ordering saddlebag extenders was that the extenders that mount here were going to end up lower than this. So unfortunately, that's another risk I'm probably going to have to assume as I continue on this project. But for now, you know, this is just a piece of the puzzle, and we're going to keep pushing forward with this. I'm going to go ahead and remove the saddlebags and continue with the fitment so I can get the holes drilled before it gets too dark out here. Okay, so as you can see, this is pretty much where it's going to mount. I'm going to go ahead and mark these areas with a pen, a marker, and that way I have a place to drill. All right, so I've got these marked. You may or may not be able to see it, but I did it in some red ink. And what I'm going to do is use my punch to have a little point in there, so when I start the drilling process, I'm not worried about scratching the paint where it doesn't need to be scratched, and I have a good starting point for my drill bit so it's not slipping anywhere, especially on these clear coated surfaces. All right, so there's that one. There we go. We'll go ahead and go to the other side. Next, we're going to go ahead and get the drill bits ready so we can have these mounted right there and be able to have these ready for installation. Now, it's important to note that, as you can see, it's a 1/2 inch bolt. I really don't know the size of this. It looks like it might be like a 1/4 inch, but when drilling, you want to start with a smaller bit and then work your way up to the correct size bit in order to fit this bracket in. So you never want to start with the same size bit as it's going to take. All right, so as you can see, I've gone ahead and made the holes, and I've already mounted the brackets, and I ended up going up to a 5/16 drill bit, stepping it up each time, starting with the punch and then stepping up the sizes till I got to 5/16. So here we are with the next part. Ran out of light yesterday, so as stated yesterday, we had to drill those 3 holes you see right there, 1, 2, and 3 on both sides. In addition, to mount this fender extender, you had to unbolt these on both sides and unbolt the nut that's behind that on the underside of the fender. So once you do that, you mount the fender on, bolt it down, put this bracket back on, put that nut back on the back side of this, and fasten it all back up. and that's what we get right here. So pretty good look. I had yesterday to kind of look at it since light was a little low. I did mount the saddlebags, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see right here, it's rubbing. You can definitely see it right here. So, and it's not rubbing a lot, but I know with the vibration that these make, that'll start to wear. I'm probably gonna end up putting like a thin seal tape there of some sort. I gotta look around. Lowe's didn't really have what I was looking for. So for now, I'm gonna move forward with mounting my lower triple beam headlight. Now I didn't go fancy with this. This was like 25 bucks off of Amazon. Quite honestly, if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be upset about it because it's just something to fill that gap right there. If it works, great. I'm just going to wire it up to my tail light and call it a day. I don't need this to, I honestly don't even need it for brakes. I'm fine with just having this as a running light, but I'm gonna hook it up to the tail light and I'll probably get a running and brake light, which is fine. Amazon, you have to look at the Amazon diagram because it'll tell you what these are. All right, so judging by the mock-up, the holes here are a tad bit too high. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and drill these out, make them a little more oblong. That way I can get these holes low enough so I can put the screws in. I put the screws in and I was literally one hole too high. So I'm going to try to oblong these a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the mounting brackets, but we're going to go ahead and give it a try. All right, so what I went ahead and did was try to oblong those the best I could and get in there. You can see those the screw holes right there. That's what these are going to mount to. Like I said, I had to oblong them a little bit because the original holes were a little too high for those. So we're going to take another stab at mounting them there, and I'll be right back. Nothing too difficult about this job, just putting in some screws. So I'll come back on when I have it mounted. Okay, so here I have it hooked up. The lower running light is wired as so. It's just jumped onto the connectors here and I put it on the ground. The blue wire apparently is a running light. I don't know if this yellow and green wire do anything for the light modulator, because I do have the light modulator on my Kustom Dynamics lights. All right, a little quick update. So with this rubbing, I went ahead and, sorry about that, got some double-sided tape and I left one side on. And this is just to cover where my fender was rubbing right here. And I did that over here too. So hopefully that'll alleviate some of the rubbing issues here. Because I guess they made these fender extenders just a little bit too wide on the bottom. They were rubbing up right onto the saddlebags. So we'll see if how well that will hold up. I'll probably end up getting some type of small seal rubber gasket type thing that I can put right here instead of having double-sided tape. But more to follow on that.